Phragmites, also known as the common reed, is an aggressive wetland invader that grows mainly in riparian areas, freshwater marshes, along riverbanks, lake shores, and roadside ditches. Invasive Phragmites does not tolerate deep or rapidly moving water, but can survive in poorly aerated sediments. In northern Michigan, there are two types of Phragmites, a native and a non-native or invasive variety. Native Phragmites has evolved to live together and intermix with other wetland plants, a natural component of a well-balanced aquatic ecosystem in our area. The invasive type grows densely, crowding out native plants, altering hydrology, degrading wildlife habitat, and increasing fire potential. Accurately distinguishing these from one another is important for the purpose of habitat conservation and/or restoration, as well as reducing the impact and spread of invasive species. At a quick glance, stands of invasive Phragmites tend to be taller and denser than native Phragmites. Invasive stands can grow up to 15 feet tall, while native stands are generally not more than 8 feet in height. One of the most easy ways to distinguish native versus invasive Phragmites is the stem color. From midsummer through the fall, native Phragmites presents a reddish-purple color in its stem near the base that is not present in the non-native populations. The reddish color fades somewhat into a chestnut brown in the fall, and in the winter, the red stem turns light to chestnut brown and somewhat gray. Stem color in the invasive type may have a reddish color in the new growth of early summer, but rapidly changes to a green, yellowish, or brown color. Also keep in mind that the runners of both types that lay along the ground have a reddish color similar to the stems of native Phragmites. When you expose the stem under the leaf sheaths, the stem of a native genotypes are smooth and shiny as if polished, particularly in the winter, while the stems of the invasive genotypes are dull, rough, and ribbed. These ridges are usually visible with the naked eye once the leaf sheaths have been removed. These differences are easy to recognize by running your fingers up and down the stems. The leaf sheaths also provide noticeable differences. Native Phragmites has pale green to yellow-green leaves, and their sheaths fall off or flake off easily during the fall and winter, leaving only the stem. Non-native leaves are flat, gray to green in color, and their sheaths are adhered tightly to the stem year-round. Another distinct characteristic is the tiny cluster of flowers at the top of the plant. Native Phragmites bloom in early July and August and are typically more sparse than non-native genotypes, which bloom in mid-August to September and are purplish when flowering and then turn whitish, grayish, or brownish in fruit. Additional technical characteristics to examine when determining native versus non-native Phragmites can be found on our website. Phragmites spreads by seed dispersal, runners that extend across the ground, and via fragments of rhizomes that break off and are transported elsewhere. New populations of the non-native type may appear sparse for the first few years of growth, but due to the plant's rapid growth rate, it can quickly form a monoculture stand that chokes out other vegetation. Phragmites is a particularly difficult plant to eradicate, and it is likely that reinvasion will occur if management strategies are not maintained. If you suspect that you have an invasive stand of Phragmites on your shoreline, contact TIP of the Mitt Watershed Council to confirm identification and discuss proper treatment options. Since there are no approved biological treatment methods for invasive Phragmites, large established populations are best controlled using herbicides. Special care must be taken to avoid impacting native species, particularly along Great Lakes shorelines in northern Michigan, where there are so many threatened and endangered species. Other treatment options may be less effective. Mowing and hand-pulling Phragmites can worsen the problem, stimulating the plant growth and increasing the stem density. Digging and disking have also been found to be ineffective due to the extensive root system created by this plant. Disturbing the soil is not recommended because it can lead to the rapid expansion of Phragmites. Information about these and other treatment options, including prescribed burning and hydrologic controls, can be found on our website. When treating Phragmites, it's important to remember to get the required permits. Permits may be needed from the Michigan Department of Environmental Quality and the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. Once a stand of Phragmites has been confirmed as invasive, the Watershed Council also recommends registering the stand with the Midwest Invasive Species Information Network smartphone mobile app. This handy app helps you capture and submit invasive species observations. For more information about this free app, visit www.misin.msu.edu. Tip of the Mitt Watershed Council: protecting what you love. Funding for this project was provided by Charlevoix County Community Foundation, Crouse Entertainment Group, and Petoskey-Harbor Springs Area Community Foundation.